people won't take yes for an answer. This drives me nuts in my personal life. And what I mean by that is, you say something, I go yes, and then you have to, and then you keep arguing. Don't argue. Take the yes. As a matter of fact, take the yes and run. The more you talk, you do not want me changing my mind. You do not want something else coming up. If I'm like, sure, I'm with you, don't then say, and furthermore. It's like, no more furthermore. I have 10 more matters on this afternoon. I really don't need to hear what you're saying. It's like, I'm ruling in your favor. I mean, at one point I actually had to say to one attorney, is there anything else that you need to say before I rule in your favor, before I grant your motion? And the person started talking and they stopped. Like about 2 or 3 sentences in, they stopped and went, oh, arrest, Your Honor. And it's like, because, you know, I know you get all fired up and you're all excited because you prepared your brilliant legal arguments and things like that. But, and if I say I've read your briefs, you don't have to repeat everything in your brief. I know people feel it's malpractice to not repeat everything in your brief if you have an opportunity for oral argument. You don't always have to do it, especially if you're the prevailing part. If I get you a tentative ruling that says I'm favoring James's position over Andrea's position, James doesn't have to come in and argue with me a lot about it. I will start up and go, Andrea, what's, you know, how did I get it wrong? And you respond. James doesn't have to go back and re-argue what I said in my tentative ruling. I know what I said in my tentative ruling. I read it, I wrote it, or at least I edited it. So, I mean, you don't have to do that. And I know people feel like they need to. You don't. You don't. You're not paid by the word. And so it's not necessary. And this is probably one of the things that drives me the most crazy, because when I have 5 matters on to hear an hour and a half, I don't need you reading your brief to me. I really just don't need that. Especially if it's obvious from my tentative that I read it because it repeats your arguments. I mean, you don't need to repeat to me what I said that you said. Just relax, come back. And if if Andrea had said something that was new, respond to what she said. And then you don't have to go back and say, oh, and don't forget. You see, I understand that when I hear this and when I do small claims appeals, when I hear from people who are not professionals, I guarantee you in a small claims appeal, by the end, everybody's just repeating themselves. But, saying something to me twice doesn't make it twice as compelling to me, just so you know. And I suspect I'm not the only one like that. So just, you know you're smart. I know you're smart. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to prove to me that you did really well in evidence or procedure class or something. You want a result.